Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and a husband, father, and a passionate guy to work with IoT as well. So, and you might be asking, okay, why English? But yeah, even though I've been here for quite long, studying at LTO and working for Ericsson, but it's you know, you guys are too good in Sweden to let us speak English. So yeah. But anyway, let's see like e-health or no health. So how many of you know about e-health? I mean, can you raise your hands? And how many of you have to wait in the queues to get attention for medical support? I mean, almost like 2/3, or I'm glad that there's still 1/3. I mean, I'm very surprised actually. So yeah, but anyway, I mean, let's see. I mean, what I will take a holistic view of the the e-health and how it's going to. I mean, what is the situation? I mean, it's more like it will be a mix. I mean, because we need to address a different level of people, I mean, that are here actually. I mean, some who have high knowledge and some probably moderate and some probably good to know more. Yeah. So basic, I mean, what is it that all about? I mean, like till now, we're used to go to, hospital and get to see the doctor directly and get some attention. But when there are going to be a lot of challenges that are going to, hit us, like long waiting queue. I mean, I had to wait like 3 weeks. I mean, still, of course, I missed the appointment even though I got it. But I'm sure there was some situation where you had to wait 2 months or 6 months or 12 months, depending upon what treatment that you're looking at. So basically, it's a new way of dealing with things, the digital way of doing healthcare. Nothing but that's called e-health, or it's also in a way used as mHealth also. And why is it required? I mean, do we really need it? I mean, because you might say, okay, I feel better going to a hospital than just sticking to some app or Skyping to a doctor actually, because it's never good actually. I know that a lot of us are Facebooking than just meeting people actually. So I mean, there's a lot of like this is how a holistic view how it's going to look in the future. I mean, like let's say in 5 to 10 years, maybe you're going to monitor a lot of things. Like you can see, like she has a lot of sensors. I mean, whatever is represented here, and even the baby has sensing diaper. Okay, now it's time change, and mom gets the notification. And in a way, like you might have heard of the 50 billion devices that's going to come, right? And I'm sure healthcare is going to take considerable share as well. So in a way, like we need something add-on to reduce queues. And also, we need to get empowered, to get better healthcare. I mean, that is what is all about e-health. I mean, if you can, like, how many of you know about MinDoctor, for example? And you know that they have been offering service to Holland's region this summer, actually, and offering like virtual appointments, actually, already. So maybe in future we will see more on virtual screens than doing something real. So of course it's all about quality of service in the end. I mean, it's not just about having virtual things. I mean, that's the reason why it's also a bit slow and sluggish, I mean, in the process. And the value chain, I mean, it's always good to know why the e-health and how it's going to come. I mean, most probably you must all be looking from the app, right? Am I right? I mean, when I say e-health, you might think, okay, maybe I should have a new app. Or how many of you think it's an app? Or yeah, okay, you don't need an app to access it, or. But anyway, I will just a quick holistic view. So we need smart sensors and platforms that can actually monitor us, either the same way as your doctor or a nurse can do. So it can be the fitness bands, or it can be any like BP machines, or the like I mean, it can be like any sort of wireless or wired sensors that are hooked. And why are they hooked? How will a doctor? I mean, it's basically the data. So the data is it's nothing less than a diamond actually. I mean, that's what I say actually. So the data is reposited and analyzed in a cloud or whatever the server we are talking about. But we do have the situations like, the personal integrity. Okay, it's my data. Why do you want to put on cloud? Okay, because anyone can steal it. But still, I strongly believe in that technology. There are threats as technology advances as well. But we need to mitigate them, because it doesn't mean that we shouldn't use e-health or bank. Like, for example, I'm sure most of you use Swish or even online banking. You could have said, okay, it's a threat. Android has some security loopholes, but we still use it. But because you can't stop technology, we just need to work more security. So data and security is the main key in the value chain, actually. And this is where you see, actually, the app. It can be like Skyping towards a doctor. It's some sort of appointment that you have. So the visualization. So in a way, like we always see like 3 stages, like the sensor platform, the intelligence where you have the analytics. So in a way, I would say that the core will be here. The core part of eHealth is here. Because even the sensors are a black box, and even the apps are, anyway, default. The smarter the algorithms or the smarter the, it can, you can imagine like, okay, in future, if you can avoid, like, if I can tell you that, okay, now it's time to slow down, work less, and maybe like otherwise you can get into this situation in a year or 2 years. So this sort of information is really, really, worth knowing. Rather than trying to wait for the long queues or even trying to solve, something which is, already happened. It's more like a machine. When I sell a machine, the machine is actually, like condition monitoring of the machine is very essential. So we're talking about condition monitoring of ourselves, which is very, very important for us. Yeah. So why we see there is a need of low power and, like reliable sensors. And what do we really get, like in terms of like having a low power and reliable sensors? Reliability is obvious. You can't really get any sensors on, because there are so many vendors nowadays. I can buy a sensor for $100, or I can either buy for like 50 cents or even 20 cents, doing the same function. And so it is very, very essential to have a precise sensors that can actually, fit into the e-health ecosystem. And that is also the reason why the regions are moving very slow, because they are still, I know a lot of region heads in terms of the e-health, who are working towards the, trying to see what devices should fit into the e-health ecosystem, because the ground reality is changing, obviously. It's up to, if we can't, adopt those high precise sensors that can be added into the value chain, the so-called region SCONE care or something. So they can't really, mitigate the oncoming problem. It can be the growing elderly people, or it can be like other growing, it can be like a lot of add-on, like immigrants that we have now. We need to still, improve our bandwidth and have a better solutions, actually. So there's a lot of things, that can be, reduced. Using the low power sensors, or it can be the reliable sensors, and which are put into the e-health ecosystem only. Why low power? Because it can be like, we do get requests most of the times. Okay, can I have a device that is hanging like that? Without any power connection and without any wired connection. And I do have a lot of on my table actually now where we want to solve those challenges. It's a very rugged environment, or it's any very, like where we just want to have it, okay, device, okay, yes. But what we usually, you have like a backbone with a, internet, or even like some powered. But most of the time they want to have self-powered, that's where, we're heading. And in that direction, it's also very important to have low powered as well. And even what you call it, the battery, now you might have been, looking at this wireless charging. And imagine all the gadgets that you have now are wireless charged. All those 50 billion devices, if they're going to get wireless charged without even like, any human interpretation. So we can get rid of all the cables that we have now, in a way like the power cables that we have. And it's, we're not that far away from that actually, the ecosystem. So it's, there's a lot happening. You can even do retrofitting for your mobiles for wireless charging, or even like already like the new ones are already coming with wireless charging. I mean, like for example, Fortim is offering soon in Vasa Airport for wireless charging. I mean, that's where we are heading. I mean, so it can be like you need not really care. I mean, what will happen? I mean, you always. I mean, I use like a phone with a high I mean, even the battery capacity is increased, but still, I always end up with okay. I still get to know in the last minute. Okay, it's 2%, so I need to charge that, which I really don't like it. I mean, which is really like annoying. I mean, so Region Skåne, I mean, let's talk about where we are right now. I mean, Region Skåne is the one who is actually handling the whole healthcare for us, and they're slowly moving towards the right focus. I mean, where they want to like put in a lot of money. Like there have been a lot of activity like from yesterday as well. I mean, something very fresh and new, where they want to put in a lot of money into medtech. I mean, upgrading with technology, as well as they want to save money. I mean, the main opportunity they found is that okay, investing in e-health is a big saving for us. I mean, because that's what they see that they can. I mean, it's two-dimensional approach actually here, or two-dimensional advantage. One is you're offering better care, and the other one is you're saving money. So what else do you need? I mean, so nothing more than that actually. And there is a big need for collaborating between regions or as well as the systems actually that you have in the communes. Because a lot of communes have the self-responsibility to handle the elderly care or the health, but hardly they talk. I mean, they go and get device from exhibition. Okay, I found it's exciting. Okay, get it and plug in. And they get 10 devices like that and just plug it in. None of these devices are really interoperable, or they're not talking to each other. And I do see that there is a direction in which a lot of what you call it the back end. You're going to have like one single interface, and I don't really care. I mean, what is the back end? I mean, how you plug in. I mean, it's just one layer that you actually visualize, where you just build apps. I mean, because if you just everyone start making our own device, is that what we want? I mean, gadgets it's not what we want. I mean, the future living is all about. I mean, we should embed devices or sensors into what we already use. I mean, nothing new. I mean, you shouldn't see like okay, I have a device here. I mean, that is not what we are aiming at. I mean, right now we actually working with one project. I mean, where we actually trying to fit something that actually in the ecosystem that already it's an industrial ecosystem, but it's already they don't really notice that it's really something new added actually, but it still does lot of good things. I mean, they can really monitor either in the deserts, or it can be like in the it can be like Antarctica or anywhere. I mean, that is what we need. So basically, what I want to say is that there's lot of traction and lot of virtual health centers also coming up. We can get into those details later on. And there is in a way like every value chain or every industry is not that easy. I mean, to get into or to transform. I mean, I've been talking to some companies where they say that okay, guys, we are 5,000 or couple of billion homes happening in a year. I mean, but still, they want to transform because digitalization is happening everywhere around us. And these companies, they say, okay, we want to. I mean, let's take the Region Skåne. I mean, they need to transform. So it's almost like it has been old school till now, but now we need to all of a sudden, if I say, okay, you need to transform. Will that happen? No. I've been doing this for 20 years. I will still do the same thing. I mean, it's more like a psychological impact as well. So likewise, I mean, there's a lot of, what you call it, the gaps as well as, the challenges that we have to be addressing, in order to solve this. And even now, I mean, if you have a health record, you can't really, it is not that easy that you can have access, outside the ecosystem that you have. So it's more like you are bound to something very, fishy. I mean, in a way, like very closed system. I mean, it's more like it's like this, but it has to be like this in a way, like wide open, like how open source and closed source is the main difference between those two. So I mean, basically, I mean, there are both between hard and soft reality gaps as well as the private and public. It is a way like we were in a big conference and where they were talking about like you have to realize the importance of citizen actually, It's not about gadgets here. It's all about what we really, really, need. I mean, it's all about our benefit. I mean, it's not about the gadgets or it's not about the region. I mean, are we really benefit? That's why we also say the human is the main factor that we need to look at. I mean, okay, device itself is no value, but the human is the real value, I mean, that you actually see. So, yeah, let's dig a bit into some of the existing cases and see what we can actually, understand more around that. So, yeah, I mean, you must have heard of, ECRIO, which is more like a research institute. And so I was talking about, embedding some sensors, within our, what you call it, the existing products, or it can be like a clothing, or it can be something else. I mean, in the same scenario, I mean, if you take this situation, I mean, you are going to have a sole, or it can be part of the shoe, actually. I mean, where you can actually have a sensor. And the good part is it's self, energizing, I mean, by the inductive process, actually. And you can actually, self-energize and, charge your battery, I mean, while you walk, actually. And the same is actually used for different situations. I mean, you can as well monitor your condition, actually, and activity. And especially if you take the elderly care, I mean, that can also really add a lot of, value addition. I mean, if you talk about, I mean, is it the value or the product? I mean, that's more have value. I mean, it's the value that really we need to talk about. And this is anyway by default. I mean, you have the data sent to the cloud, to the gateway, and then the gateway is sending to the servers, and then you have get notifications based on. It's very simple and easy ecosystem. I mean, this is anyway standard, but the core is here, and also the data, how you actually use the data. Because you have data everywhere. I mean, we've been talking to one of the major in healthcare, actually. And it's very, very, very interesting scenario. I mean, they have put a lot of sensors in their equipment. But I asked a very simple question, okay, what do you do then? I mean, they said, okay, no, we don't know. They just have the sensors now. And they're one of the, Swedish-based health, product. They work with a lot of communes. And they say, yes, we have them, but we don't know what we will do. And we have spent, so many millions working on this. Okay, so is that what we want to do? So you need to think of what value do you really get by doing this. I mean, before doing that, I mean, a lot of companies, I mean, they start doing the other way around. I mean, okay, do this, and then think of the value. I mean, which is really, really not the way that we should actually adapt. At least the business models are really changing quite fast in the e-health ecosystem. So. Yeah, let us see. I mean, this sort of techniques. I mean, the sensor implanting can be used in lot of different scenarios. I mean, this is just a simple example. I mean, if you can have it in your clothing, I mean, it can be like, for example, there are some pulse oximeters where you can also have it in like a fabric, for example, and there are certain type of materials and a lot of research ongoing in the fabric level. I mean, what you can do. And it's all about, if you can predict your mood, based on what data you get. And so there's also some wireless, for example, the COPD, where you can actually, by detecting the brain waves, you can actually, also detect, okay, what is it? Is it time to probably get to emergency, or is it time to, I mean, because some certain diseases or certain, situations had to be solved right now and then. You can't really wait in the long queues to resolve them. So those sort of ailments, I mean, those sort of situations where it can be like what you call stroke or something similar. I mean, you all need to try to really understand and address them accordingly. So this is one of the interesting example that I can actually mention about. I mean, a baby viewer. I mean, for example, more than half of the population, or even 2/3 of the population, is in these so-called like Asia, Africa, or South America. So where the hygiene is too low and where there is very poor medical facilities. And so what does it mean? I mean, so e-health, we are considering that, okay, Region Skåne will save a couple of billion. But here we already have a system that is already a bit, advanced than any other, if we take other Asian markets or something similar. when it comes to medical or even the ecosystem that we are based in. And that's the reason why IoT has been so popular in the Nordics, or even especially this region, the Öresund region. And so what is the problem solved here? Affordable treatment for mass population, actually. So by having an affordable device that can be put onto cloud, the data is sent to the cloud. It can be a baby viewer, or it can be some other diabetic related, or it can be like some sort of a virtual hospital sort of thing. If I can just make a sort of how many of you know the old telephonic booths? I mean, I know that we used to have some in the Sweden in the beginning when I arrived, actually, but they might have removed it. They removed it, I guess. Yeah. So, but at least I come from India, and in India, like, they used to be like when the telecom was in 2G or in the transition of 2G 3G, it was more like there was more business around this booths. So let us replace those booths with like medical booths, like where you can actually go. You need not like right now my family is in India, where if you have to go any hospital in India especially, the waiting time normally is like, they say like 10 to visit the doctor, but it will take at least 2 to 3 hours. The normal waiting time is 2 to 3 hours. And of course, it can be short, but I'm talking about the average statistics, actually. And that is only, I'm talking about those who can afford this sort of high-class treatment. But those who cannot, so if they have to go to the other public treatments, it's really, really pathetic, actually. So in that situation, so how are we solving this? Low-cost, high-precise sensors and different devices. I mean, this is a really, really valuable thing. And this is a case that we are actually working already for next year, actually. So basically, the value is more important than the real gadget, actually, in any e-health ecosystem. So we need to really, really dig deeper there. So yeah, this is something around that. I mean, how many of you been using virtual reality, or have you been trying? So what do you think about virtual reality in the next couple of years, or what is it going to happen? Yes? So what? Yeah? I mean, I was a bit surprised, like when I was at one of the exhibitions recently. I mean, almost everyone is trying to get one virtual reality, this one glasses, just have everywhere and everything. I mean, it's more like, if you can have, they want to solve where you can't reach. I mean, if there's a construction, or if there's a hospital treatment, or it can be something else. I mean, it is really, really, like a cool thing to play around with. I mean, but the challenges are still lying there. I mean, where all we can see that, okay, yes, I don't say that we should run after virtual reality, or I don't say that we should just do everything possible. But it's all about, like, are we really fixing things in the right way? I mean, as per the standardization that can be really fitting into the ecosystem. That is very, very, very important. You can't just, I mean, why are so many product companies in the Scandinavian countries, or especially in Sweden? I mean, there is. Yeah, it's just because, it has been the quality, There's a big brand behind the Sweden. I mean, like if you say like made in Sweden, I mean, it has a big brand awareness, actually. I mean, we're meeting one sensor company who actually do some air quality. So they do everything out of Sweden, actually. But they sell in volumes, and just because the quality matters. I mean, whatever the design, or the precision of the value. And what I say in this sort of situation is that, okay, I don't say the price is really the key. I mean, price is key, obviously, for the end product. But actually, when it comes to the sensors, it's all about the precision, not the price. So I mean, in a way, like if as I said, like the remote assistance, or it can be like the virtual hospital. I mean, there's already been some trials already run by the Nordic Health Innovation. I mean, where we just had a virtual, booth sort of thing where they can try, you have gadgets, and you have a remote, surveillance if a doctor is needed. And it's more like, using your resources efficiently. I mean, when you have only certain amount of time or certain amount of resources. So the same is really, really applicable for e-health also. And it's getting more and common, I mean, in all these ecosystems. And challenges, I mean, can anyone name some of the challenges that you see in e-health? I mean, to name some? I mean, there are a lot of challenges actually in the ecosystem. I mean, it's very, slow moving, and like a lot of new things happening in the different, regional level, national level, international level. And right now, I mean, there's also a big challenge of, like you can't really, move on. You can actually move on, but actually your data cannot move actually, as of now, the medical data. I mean, if you're moving within the EU, I mean, okay, yes, we can just buy a ticket, but the data is still locked in actually in a way. So that's even big problem in US also. I mean, when you look at the lot of big data solutions being applied and see, okay, how we can actually really connect different states in US to really get things connected for the hospitals or the data, the digital data or digital health files actually, I would say. So in a way, I mean, there are a lot of challenges, and there's expenditure ahead of us and a lot of innovation needed that is to be taken care. And I would say very simple one thing. I mean, it is an ecosystem, not one single solution that can solve this. So it is a big, very essential to build the e-health ecosystem, not any single device or not anything, just one company can lead it. I mean, that is already happening, like in the big way actually in the backgrounds. I mean, a lot of big brands are really cooperating, and they're already handshaking in the back because they already understood the ground reality that, okay, if we don't do that now, we can't really have, like it can be Watson or it can be anything. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, as one of the guys mentioned that, I mean, the understanding the data, I mean, getting the data is not really that hard actually. It's very simple. But it's the precision of the data, the severance of the data, and also like how do we protect the personal integrity and data integrity, which is a big challenge. And what is the main interest of all the data? I mean, you might be hearing data a lot, but of course, why do I need data? I want to know the trends. If I know that there's going to be more people impacted with this certain, diseases over time, then I can be prepared ahead of time. But if I know that, okay, this is what is going to happen to our, the health ecosystem or the human mankind, I mean, if there's going to be like some, let's talk about a bit funny thing, I mean, where let's imagine that there is some aliens. If they start and just do some bio war, and start playing with us. So obviously the data will really help us to see, okay, what sort of combination will really support us or help us, to really, be sustainable. But at this point of time, the main challenge already still is solving the most obvious problems, not even the most fancy things. Because if you talk about, like 2/3 in the room have mentioned that you have to wait in the queue. I don't know, what is the minimum time? Like, is it like maximum time that you have to wait, any one of you? Like 2 months or? But I put it straight, maybe like, how many of you like the health system, I mean, that we already have in place? I mean, or at least get the right treatments, or?
We get the right treatment, but
In time, I mean, in time. So there's a problem already there, I mean. Yes, you like it, yeah. You get the treatment in time, or?
But I mean, you have what they call vårdgarantis. You are entitled to have
But 3 months, it's 3 months.
in maximum 3 months.
Okay.
If that's not possible, you could go somewhere else.
But what guarantee 3 months?
You shouldn't have to wait 2 weeks.
But what guarantee 3 months is still too long, right? I mean,
I don't know.
if you, I mean, it's very simple. I mean, if I want to drink beer, I want it now, not after 3 months, right? I feel like it's more like emotions, and it's also about like what we need, right? I mean.
But again, it's a balance between the cost also. I mean, from a society.
But one more thing, is it the cost, or is it are we really using the resources effectively? I mean, let's say we have the infrastructure already in the healthcare system. Are we really putting, how many things that it is really used effectively? I mean, to the full extent?
Political vision.
That is one issue, but I also see one more thing maybe like now the time has come where we need to be agile, Basically, okay, the days are gone where okay, I will fix everything like the tires and the wheels, like the body and everything, and then I drive. But now the time has come, okay, maybe you fix the wheels, I fix the body, and someone else fix something else. So we meet somewhere and just fix it, just drive. So that's where that should be how we should do it. I mean, being agile. Yeah, I mean, I strongly say that we are missing the human element in the e-health ecosystem. Basically, all of us are talking about devices, devices, devices. Okay, is devices the one that we are going to live with? No, right? We the humans that have to live. I mean, so it's devices for us, but not we for devices. It has to be the other, how it should be. I mean, so. But I mean, anyway, there are so many challenges to be addressed, but they has to be mitigated one by one, and but adopting agile way of doing things rather than just doing these master plans. I've been seeing in a lot of other companies that I've been working with. I mean, they just make a big roadmap. So there's no, it's more like a dead end. I know that it will never happen, but now things need to be, just make it agile and just try to, delegate things, do things, and, fast track. I mean, the politicians, obviously, I mean, I do think that, I mean, they have to set the right strategy. And it's also about, are they really well, knowledgeable about what it really needs? That's still a big question. I mean, probably it's a yes and no, Some they're really knowledgeable, some no, 50-50, some no. So likewise, I mean, there are still, like a lot more things. Yeah, I just take a quick thing. I mean, this is what we do, and in our, key things, what we actually see in from our tech source perspective. Connecting is what we actually believe in. So we're talking about this 50 billion device that's going to come in. So it's a ever-ending story. I mean, I don't say that. I mean, we are done now. So it can be LoRa, or we can give a lot of names actually, maybe a lot of technologies or a lot of things. It can be narrowband or whatever it may be. Like it ultimately, it's very simple ecosystem. Data that you actually grab from the sensors that you actually implant. And I'm in a way like I don't, I mean, in future, I will not be surprised if we just, remove our, mobile handsets and just make one of our arms maybe like just here. So why do I need a mobile? So because you always tend, okay, I forget this, okay. But maybe if it is already part of you, and if there's a technology that can actually handle the, interference or the radiation part, so we are solved. So maybe a lot of people might be obviously interested in to have that, implanted in the body. I mean, so it's always, I mean, there's also a say like, in future, I mean, if we don't start using our, because the evolution is going forward, and as we move on, the usage of our, hands and our legs are going down, and probably the brain power is growing, and there is a lot of things going to happen. I mean, so there is a lot more to do. I mean, a lot more to think.